Hello, welcome to Miss Peepers Reading Corner. I'm Katrina, aka Miss Peepers. Let's talk about books. Today we're going to discuss The White Lioness by Henning Mankell. Henning Mankell wrote a number of books that starred his detective Kurt Wallander, and this is one of them. I think it's technically the third one. These are books that you can read out of order. Now, this book was originally written in Swedish and it was translated to English, or at least this copy was translated to English by Laurie Thompson. Kurt Wallander, as a character, falls into this trope of the gruff police officer. He does have a very strong moral compass. He does want to do things the right way, and he is dedicated to solving the crimes that fall onto his desk. But he's also got a little bit of a maverick streak in him, not in a like flouting the law sort of way, but more in a, I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to do what I need to do. And if I need to bypass my superiors or tell a white lie to give myself a little extra time, he's going to do that. And so that by itself makes any of his stories interesting. This particular story took a turn that I did not expect. So at the beginning of this novel, there is a murder. Can't have a murder mystery without a murder. The victim is a middle-aged woman named Louisa Åkerblom. She's a realtor. She's gone to look at a house and she never comes home. And so her husband reports her missing and eventually they find the body. We see her being murdered at the very beginning of the book, so like it's not a spoiler that she's no longer alive, but of course the characters don't know that at the beginning. So Wallander is investigating this crime. He's digging up her life, as you do. He's looking into people she knows, people who might be enemies, the standard stuff. And what he's finding is that everybody loves Louisa. Everyone thinks she's great. She has no enemies. Obviously something must have happened because she is dead. But the story of this murder in Sweden is interwoven with a story about an assassination plot in South Africa. And that's the turn that I was not really expecting. And even though it says it on the back, he soon uncovers an assassination plot and finds himself in a tangle with the secret police and a ruthless ex-KGB agent. Weirdly, I was still not expecting it, even though I knew something weird was going on. I did not expect just how unusual this story was going to turn out to be. So I don't want to give too much away because I do think it's great as a reader, especially when you're reading a mystery or a thriller, to uncover the story as you go. But I will say this book takes place in the 1990s and it coincides with apartheid in South Africa. Now, I'm going to state right now, I am not an expert on apartheid. I don't know exactly how accurate this book is, and so I'm not going to make any declarations on that point. I do get the sense that it is well researched, and although Henning Mankell was Swedish, he did spend a fair amount of his life living in Mozambique, so it is not completely off the wall that he would be telling this story. And that's something that I look for when someone is telling a story that seems to be completely different from what their life experience would be like. I did not know that Henning Mankell lived in Mozambique until I read this book and looked it up. And I realized that, okay, he does have some firsthand knowledge, not directly of apartheid perhaps, but of just what it's like to live in Africa. And one thing that I appreciated about it is that while there are Black South African characters in the story, I didn't get the feeling, and reasonable people can disagree about this, but my personal take is I didn't get the feeling that this Swedish white man was trying to like appropriate a story or that he was trying to represent their lives in a way that he was not qualified to do, if that makes sense. If you have more knowledge of this time period, and of South Africa than I do and disagree, I'd love to know if I'm completely off base there. But when I read it, it didn't feel disrespectful to me. And I recognize that everyone has bias, that I'm coming from a particular place. I may not spot all of those things, but I was trying to look for them. So this is a really engaging book all the way through. And I liked the split storytelling where There's some things happening in Sweden that Wallander knows about. There's some things happening in South Africa that he doesn't. It's a third person narrative. We follow a couple of different perspectives of different characters involved in these two storylines that intersected with Louisa's death, and this idea that Wallander would not have known anything about what was going on in South Africa unless Louisa had been murdered in the way she was. And yeah, it was just really gripping and well done. I also, I really like Wallander's character. I think all of the characters in this book were well fleshed out. They are full humans. If you've been here for a while, you know I like characters that are full humans. Not that there isn't a time and place for like archetypes or for more like sketches of characters, depending on the type of book that you are reading. This is not that. In order to care about what happens in a mystery, I need to feel like the characters are full real people. I do really enjoy this series. I picked up what I believe is the second one, one step behind. So clearly I want to keep reading Henning Mankell. I think these books are a lot of fun. I really enjoy the writing, and I know a lot of that is going to be down to the skill of the translator as much as the skill of the author. I do really enjoy like just the pacing of it. And there are also these side plots with with Wallander's father and his daughter. Wallander is divorced. He has an adult daughter. And it's interesting because like the relationships seem incidental at the beginning and more like flavor. And then as you go further into the book, they become more and more relevant to the main plot line. And his relationships with his family, they change throughout the course of this story. If you like mysteries, that have a touch of thriller, this is definitely more on the mystery side, but there are like some thriller elements in parts of it. And if you like stories that span different countries and continents, like this has an international flair to it that, again, I wasn't really expecting to see. And it was very, very interesting. So let me know, have you read The White Lioness or anything else by Henning Mankell? If so, what did you think? Let me know in the comments. And either way, I will see you in the next one.